Good evening, CLC. I'm Naomi Feda. Thanks so much for joining me here this evening. So for those of you who were in church on Sunday, we had a really awesome word from Chris Wolf. If you would like to follow up on that, you can find it here on the CLC Facebook page or YouTube channel. And what an amazing word that was. The reminder that God has not finished with us yet. And I don't know about you, but how many times do you feel maybe discouraged, or that you're not fulfilling God's call, or maybe just that season of life has passed you by? And so I've been reading a little excerpts from this book. It's Tozer Speaks, and one of the excerpts that I was reading went along with that. And so I just wanted to share it with you. So the scripture passage is from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, which is, I'm going to start in verse 8, where it's talking about Paul has a weakness or a thorn in the flesh that he was asking God to take away. It says, 3 times I begged the Lord to take it away, and each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. Now I am glad to boast about my weakness, so that the power of Christ may work through me. That is why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults and hardships, persecutions and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong." This concept of, God's not finished with us, right? Because we might think that, maybe because of our weakness or something else that's going on in our lives. But God's not done. And Paul, the Apostle Paul, rejoices in your weakness, and rejoice in the fact that in a season when maybe you aren't feeling strong, God is strong. And when you are weak, he can manifest his strength in you. So a little commentary or a little excerpt from this book that I'm reading by Tozer is he was actually talking about Moses in this passage, where he talks about when Moses was called by God. And it says, Moses asked the question, "Who am I?" in the face of a staggering call from God. The call to go back and face a hostile empire and liberate and bring out of Egypt a whole nation of more than 1 million people. Moses said, "I can't." And God said, "Moses, I know you can't, but go and do it." If Moses had arisen immediately upon receiving the call and said, "All right, when do I start?" God would have had to put him through another furnace of testing. This is a principle so true that this is a principle so true of us all in our human experiences. Whenever I think I can stand up and say, "I am now strong enough, sufficient enough, I can do it," then God fades out, and there comes only grief and woe and sterility and fruitlessness, and finally eclipse. So we are faced with new tasks, faced with the need of cleansing, faced with the need of atonement. We are faced with the mysteries of life and death and immortality, and say, "Oh God, who am I?" And God replies, "Son, it doesn't make too much difference who you are. I am all you need. So I give you today the one who is everything you need. Jesus Christ has made to us wisdom, righteousness, and power, holiness forevermore, redemption full and sure, and he is all we need." I just love that reminder, because isn't that so true? He's what we need. He's all we need. And when we think that we're not enough, or like Chris was mentioning, her height wasn't enough to play basketball, but God had given her different gifts and talents. And so I think the same is true for you and me. There are many things maybe in our lives, in our walk with God, we feel like you feel like you're not good enough, or you haven't gotten there yet, and yet Christ is all we need. So rather than focusing on our insecurities or our weaknesses, we can focus on his strength. So as you go about this week, I just pray that you would lean on him in let his strength envelop you and fill you. And so may God bless you, and look forward to seeing you again on Sunday. Have an awesome week.